It was challenging. It was real hard. When we worked on a film, we fought a lot because we were both protecting areas of integrity, I think, that we were worried about.
Welcome to Hollywood Star News, where we reveal the untold stories behind music's biggest legends. Now, this isn't just another gossip headline. This is a reckoning. Kristofferson was never a man who threw around insults lightly. To him, music wasn't a career. It was a sacred act, something forged in pain, blood, and raw honesty. So, when he speaks about the artists who betrayed him, ignored him, or cheapened the craft he loved, it cuts deep. These weren't small quarrels or friendly rivalries. These were scars carved into the foundation of his life's work. Let's start with Vince Gill. To millions, Gill was Nashville's shining star, smooth-voiced and polished to perfection. But to Kristofferson, he was fake. He believed Gill never lived the struggle, never carried the pain that gave country music its soul. In 1995, when Kris stood on stage to present Vince with a Lifetime Achievement Award, Gill brushed past him without a glance. Later, when Vince asked to record one of Kris's most emotional songs, Kris shut him down with a bitter laugh. That guy couldn't make it through one real emotion, let alone a whole night of them. Then there was Willie Nelson. Outlaw brothers on stage, but behind the curtain, their friendship cracked. Willie borrowed his band members, courted his girlfriend, and even once introduced "Help Me Make It Through the Night," Kristofferson's own song, as if it were his. To the world, Willie was charming. To Kris, he was a smiling Judas. The final straw came when Willie dismissed him with a line that stung for years. "You're still small time, man. Hollywood don't count." Johnny Cash's betrayal was quieter, but perhaps even more painful. Cash had been his mentor, the man who brought his songs to national television, the friend who once stood by him no matter what. But when Kris turned to political songwriting, speaking out about war and injustice, Cash went silent. No support, no public defense, nothing. Kristofferson admitted years later, "I didn't need him to sing with me. I needed him to stand next to me." That silence was its own kind of knife. Leonard Cohen, another poet-musician, wounded Kris differently. In a moment of vulnerability, Kristofferson opened up about the scars of war, love, and regret. Cohen listened, then coolly responded, "Pain is overrated when you write like a god." To Kris, that turned suffering into theater. From that night on, he saw Cohen not as a brother in darkness, but as someone who performed sorrow rather than lived it. Kenny Rogers symbolized everything Kris hated about the industry. He called Rogers a commercial chameleon, a man who could change his voice, his image, even his soul if it meant another hit. To Kris, music was scripture. To Rogers, it was business. The contrast was too great for respect to survive. With Dolly Parton, the feud was personal and public. On the set of a duet, Dolly joked about his drinking, mocked him as a fading legend, and laughed as the crew joined in. Kris never forgot the humiliation. When asked years later if he'd ever sing with her again, his reply was cutting. "Not unless they bury me first, and maybe not even then." And then, Bob Dylan. At first, Kris admired him, even felt honored to share songs with him. But when Dylan debuted a track that echoed one of Kris's most personal verses with no credit given, Kristofferson realized the truth. He doesn't steal, he scavenges, picks the bones clean, and sings like he dug the grave himself. Their friendship ended with a single line at a Grammy after-party: "You ain't who you pretend to be." These weren't casual grudges. For Kris, they were betrayals that defined his journey. He believed music had to hurt, that it had to be real. And when he looked at these 7 artists, he saw masks, business deals, and betrayals that stripped away the honesty he valued most. So now we ask you, was Kris Kristofferson right to hold such bitterness, or was he too hard on his peers? Were these betrayals unforgivable, or just the price of fame in a cutthroat industry? Let us know in the comments below. And if you love uncovering the hidden stories of music and Hollywood's brightest stars, don't forget to like this video, share it with your friends, and subscribe to Hollywood Star News. Because here, we don't just tell the stories you've heard, we reveal the ones you were never meant to know.